We have quite limited time, so I wanted to give you a chance to think what gestures, if you're given this task yourself, what gestures would you propose, or how would you go about kind of proposing, oh, this is a gesture we should provide to consumers? Any volunteers? What gestures do you want? Yeah? Automatically. Why? All right. So if you take that position that I'm ready for the photo, then you don't have to actually press the button.
Press the button because it's so hard when you're actually traveling alone or traveling in a group. Getting to click a picture on a phone is pretty hard, so you just wave to the phone or just clicks a picture, and that's one gesture kind of.
Good idea. Yeah. Anyone else? Have you been thinking about that for a while? Priyanka, I remember.
Priyanka, yeah. Yeah, gestures for clicking pictures or maybe playing music automatically. I don't think that waving would be that easy to implement because people may be moving and it could just get implemented. So the gesture should probably be a touch gesture, but a very light one. And apart from pictures and playing music or whatever, we can probably have gestures for muting calls or putting calls on hold or something, or locking the phone automatically, something like that.
Did you know that that feature is already existing in Nokia phones?
No.
They're silencing the ringing tone.
No, I didn't.
But it does reflect the need quite well.
Yeah.
Yes?
For a touch screen phone, primarily that is just using touch as the input. Thanks. Maybe two hands in this manner would just bring up the QWERTY.
Oh.
Makes
So
things easier. Yeah, I won't have to press a button to initiate a QWERTY to come onto the screen. I just, wave my fingers and the QWERTY comes up and I can go about typing.
Lots of nice ideas. Another one?
Another useful gesture would be a lot of times we unlock and lock our cell phones.
Right.
So instead of just pressing two keys, we could simply shake the phone and it would unlock itself. And again, a shake would lock the phone.
So it's like a toggle function.
Yes.
So good ideas. Well, we were working on this project, so I would like to introduce you the first stage. We went through about 3 different phases, and this was one of the tasks we gave to people. So as you were saying, you actually had a lot of ideas functionally how the gesture could be applied to. In this study, we simply gave different types of tasks because we were dealing with lots of people, so we wanted to give them certain tasks. So read this description. So you are in the middle of an important meeting in the office, and your phone starts to ring loudly. And you cannot really take the call, so you have to silence the phone. But if you cannot press any buttons, you have to do it with your action with a phone. How would you do it? Flip the phone? Oh, you know too much about existing features in Nokia phones, aren't you? Oh, what if it was originally on the table? So just grab it and hide it.
But this already exists.
Pressure? So you would press the phone?
Put it in the pocket, it senses it's gone inside.
Oh, I see. So what if you were already having the phone in the pocket? Press it harder.
So you don't even ring. Does it ring if it's in the pocket? Something like that?
Out of the window to show the gesture that I'm sorry. So let's have a look at, so we had about 11 different tasks. Some tasks were really as common as taking the time, unlocking the phone, as you were saying earlier. Some were becoming more popular, like sending something from phone to phone. And we ran the study in 4 different locations because we wanted to gather as much as cultural diversity in the ideas that we were collecting. So as you were thinking a little bit about silencing the phone, these were some of the, we simply gave them a block. You saw this slide in Nikki's presentation. So basically we didn't provide them any specific phones. It was just a little dummy block, so they were just acting out. And so we sketched out some of the ideas that we heard in the sessions, and these were just chosen, just a few, to show what kind of ideas we got, because it was really varied. So some people were quite technical, and they said they knew exactly where the speaker was on their phone. Probably some people like you guys. So if the phone rings, I would just place my fingers exactly on top of where the speaker was so that I muffle the phone. Some ideas were, I would describe futuristic or kind of very science fiction-like. Like in the bottom right corner, so just look at the phone, disapprove of me, and the phone will become magically silent. Or it's like, shh, or oops. So this phase was really providing diverse ideas, and some of the ideas were reflecting the cultural etiquette that already existed in the society. So like in India and Shanghai especially, we asked them, when giving something to another phone, if it's not a photo but a business card, how would you do the gesture? And people were immediately saying, well, I would then hold the phone with 2 hands, because that's how you should show the respect. But obviously those kind of issues didn't come up in Chicago and London, because they don't really have such a custom. We moved on to the next phase, and I intentionally got the slide written in Japanese. Anyone can read Japanese? So it was intentional. What function do you think this was? NFC. Anyone else? Transfer? Yeah, obvious, isn't it? So the next phase, this was one of the examples. So we selected now about 60 gesture samples, not necessarily the best ideas, but we wanted to have a really varied range of gestures, because by providing that as an example, and we once again recruited a lot of people, and we asked them to evaluate each of the samples that they were shown. So it was about 60 gestures allocated to 15 different tasks. So in other words, each task was presented with 4 different gesture examples. So again, let's do an exercise. So as if you're participants. So this was sending to a nearby device, and we are not describing what the technology is. You don't have to think about it, although it's probably quite difficult to resist what would be the, as you were saying, NFC already. So the 14.1, it was holding the phone in the palm and making a handshake to transfer something from my phone to your phone. The second idea was holding the phone, screen facing each other, top and bottom, to transfer something to the other phone.